So today we are going to tell you the secret of C, S, and I. That is the secret to better practice. That is the secret to better drawing. Isn't it, Mr. Miro? I'm sorry, there's a squirrel on this fence. So, today's secret. You will draw better after today. Watch it.
Welcome back, and we're going to start today with a little bit of a some form of kind of lesson in a way of kind of getting you into practicing your drawing, practicing your line work. I've had a lot of questions about line work, and although my line work is quite hard and quite messy, it doesn't have to be. And I'm sure your style is probably much more clean and much more crisp. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the practice methods, because I find that's a real kind of missing part. When I watch through a kind of teaching video, I some kind of find that sometimes they're either so technical that you kind of get a little bit lost, or they get to the point where they're talking to you a little bit like you're 4 years old, and you kind of get a bit fed up. But that's just my opinion, and I want to try and break down a little bit of how to kind of break down your practicing in the same way as anything, that you kind of get into a kind of relaxed and happy state, and I find practicing is much easier. I find practicing can be fun. Practicing can be scribbles and little ideas and things like that, and it doesn't have to be so stressfully technical. In that way, I found drawing was fun, and that's what I'm trying to bring across here. I'm trying to bring across drawing being fun, especially as the beginning stages. And fun needs to be something that is controllable. So, in controllable, I mean kind of like you're controlling what you're actually doing, the limitation of the practices, and having fun with those practices. As in with music, you have a musical scale. You learn the scale, then you start to try and have some fun with it. Try and make a tune out of the scale. It's like da 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 da. Okay, the scale is going to be da 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 da, whatever. And you're going to be going into that and trying to make up a small little tune. Simple tune. And it makes you feel confident, makes you feel, it's just a silly little song, but I wrote it. And that's the same approach with drawing. I find like you've got to get into a point of having one of these kind of little sketch pads, these little cheap things. I buy these little jotters. I've shown them before. They're kind of like these kind of jumbo A4 pads, 150 sheets, and you pay a couple of pounds for them. So there's nothing really lost by drawing and scribbling and having fun with it. But let's try and control those elements of having fun. So it's like a learning progression with your fun. Okay? Now I'm going to try and break it down a little bit into a very, very, very simple couple of points, and then we can try and work on those. And I'll use two different pens. I'll use a biro for kind of sketching things, and then I'll use a kind of brush pen, nothing special about it, just a brush pen with a felt end to it like that. And a biro, a biro. And we will just kind of draw and bring up a couple of points. Now today's points, I want to work on a couple of shapes. Okay? Now, practicing can be as simple as that C shape, an S shape, and an I shape. The only thing then it brings onto it is like maybe like an O. But an O is basically two C's. In the same way that you can do that with an S is basically two C's. You see how even with the simplest of kind of breaking things down, I can even break it down further. I could probably do the lesson as C and I. Curves and straight. Now, why I'm talking about this, it's a very, very good way to break down a lot of these complicated ideas of drawing something, breaking it down into simple forms. As I've done before in my other video, I've brought it down to kind of circles and sausages, to drawing a man out of circles and sausages, or a horse out of circles and sausages. And breaking it down into those simple forms takes a lot of pressure away from you. And it can actually work out to be quite fun. So, what I usually do when I'm sitting, I like to keep my pen moving. When I'm sitting and watching TV or listening to some music or whatever I'm doing, I like to sit and I like to kind of just scribble. I like to scribble circles. I like to scribble C's. I like to scribble S's. And why is because it builds up this kind of muscle memory. This muscle memory that you can do a curve. You know? And when you're also then going into doing your loose drawings, you can kind of do your C and do another C. Doing a C and doing another C. And that looseness up is just kind of getting you into a more relaxed state. It's not stressful. It's not drawing a horse. It's drawing shapes. And I found that if I draw, then I might add a kind of loose C and just kind of having these curved straight lines. And I can basically straight line, curve, two C's to make an O, two C's to make an O, a smile with a small c, and then you have your little eyes. And with the simplest of shapes and lines, you can actually work into something very, very powerful and very, very, very beautiful. And that will go on to adding an ear, adding some hair, you know. And that's a really, really powerful way to kind of get you, that you can basically be sitting and you can be sketching. And you can be scribbling and making shapes, whatever shapes you want to make. And you could do like a straight line and a curved line and a straight line and a curved line. And we could do, I mean, it's almost like a kind of like a Shaun the Sheep type of shape, you know. Bring him in a smile. And that's basically what you've got. And with your hair, you could break it down. And what does a sheep's hair look like? Okay, we could do it with little C's. And that's our whole kind of character. So, to go back to this point of C, S, and I is almost like breaking it down into a way that you could practice. For example, if you had a pencil, any old pencil, and you did a lot of C, S, and I, it's probably too light for the camera to pick up, but I'll draw that in Biro so you can kind of see it. There's a rough C, a rough S, and a rough I. Now what this is teaching you about is with your line. Once you've drawn your character and you're quite happy with your character, that's when we have the power of using a simple thing to give us confidence. Now, I know that at the beginning your line might be a little bit kind of wobbly and a bit unsure, and you might kind of find yourself wobbling all over the place and you're not very good at it and you're worried. But that's just because it's the early stage and it's the beginning. Okay? Like when you're a baby and you're beginning to walk, you're kind of a little bit wobbling like this all over the place. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As you get used to it and as you build up the confidence, then you can start to practice your ink line. So once you've drawn your rough characters, you can go in and you can basically slowly start to practice your C. You can practice your S, which is basically a C, like that, and then another C, like that. And your I, getting used to your straight lines, getting your confidence, straight lines. And in the same way that when I draw a circle, when I'm doing it like a clean line, I would probably start off with a circle, and I would take my pen off, and I would do another circle. And the more you kind of practice doing that, the better your circles will get. Now this is just about getting into a habit of sketching. Being rough, being clean. There's two forms of using that line. And the same way that you can go back over your rough drawing, for example like this one or this one, whichever, you can go back over with your pen, your brush pen, or your ink pen, whichever you feel comfortable, and you can draw it up. You can draw it up into a nice drawing. Bring in your straight, bring in your C shape, bring in your C shape and your C shape. And we're just going to bring our little C shape there. We're bringing that line round, kind of like a straight, slightly bent straight line. You see the way I've done that line, and then I've taken my pen off. Then I'll come back again to finish that off. And same again, just finishing that line and then slowly trying to get your line. And you can do that line, a C and a C. You can even put another little ear over there. And these are doing is these are giving you confidence by doing this, by building these practices of sketching. Let's do his hair. We're just basically doing these kind of like a slight bend to a line, and we can bring the back of his hair. There we are, we've got our character. And the same way again with this, using our confidence on our rough drawing that we've basically been practicing, our shapes, our circle shapes, our C shapes, our S shapes, our I shapes, and we can start to have some fun. And we can start to draw the line. And we can take our time. There's no rush with this. Okay? And you can draw your C and then another C. Draw his eyes. Can you see how that, and even if you wanted to add an eyebrow, it's just like another C. We can do a little dot for his nose, a little smile, and we'd bring our big kind of C shape, and another C shape, and we're going to do a straight, and we're going to do a C. Can you see how it's starting to work? It's a C shape, it's a straight shape, it's a C shape and a C shape and a straight shape and a straight shape and a C shape. It's really breaking this down. Breaking it down even further than the lesson of circles. Circles and sausages was our last lesson. And let's just C, C, C to make his hair. And what this is doing, this is building up massive amount of confidence. So when you come to do your drawing, you're going to be looking at something and then you're going to say, oh my God, I can't draw that. Oh, wait, stop. What am I looking at? I'm looking at a box. Okay, it's straight. And it's breaking it down. Maybe this one. Maybe this little jar. It's got a straight side. It's got a C shape and another C shape to make a circular top. So it's breaking these things down in a very, very simplified form. And the more you practice, the more you kind of put down your kind of like a rough C, your rough C, your rough C, your rough C backwards, your rough C backwards, your rough C backwards, and you practice. In the old way they would say practice makes perfect. And it does. And you can practice your C. Nice and slowly. And you might have some wobbles in there. You might find that your C line is a little bit kind of wobbly like that. Don't worry. Just keep practicing it. And what you will find is that that kind of wobbly line will change very quickly into a very perfect line. And once you start to break down, you know, you might have a drawing that you want to clean up. You want to put some nice ink on it. If you're breaking it down into straight lines and curved lines and S shapes on some difficult shapes, a C and a C backwards, and then we're doing again. We're just practicing it. And we're just practicing it. I'm going back the other way, just getting... This is going to help massively. And our C backwards. And our C backwards. And our C backwards. And this is just, it's just a way of building up confidence. Now, the only thing that we're going to start to add to that, I'll just tear these off and put them side by side. You can still see that. Is that if we're doing a box, for example with a box, we need to be very careful that we're joining up these lines so we're very clear visually about what it is we are drawing. For example, if we draw something that's kind of a little bit like that, you know, and nothing's connected, we might get a little bit confused about, what is it, Kieran? I can't see it. What are we talking about here? So we're doing this part about connecting, filling out your form, connecting your form in the same way that you're going to collect those lines and makes visually clear. And this again will come from this practicing of your line. It'll be a point of you practicing your line so everything kind of joins up. We have our box. Now it's about clarity of whatever you're doing. If you're doing a C and you're doing a line and you're doing a line, people are still going to be saying, well, yeah, what is it? And you're going to just basically connect your lines to make your image clear. It might sound very, very simple, but I've seen so many drawings that are so broken with their line form that it's very difficult to work out what is actually there. It's a hat, simple hat, by a C, a straight and a straight. And we're starting to break everything down. In the same way, if you were to draw that in a 3D perspective, like in a tilted hat or an upside down hat, or it'd be very easy for you then to break it down into shapes. So, in the same way, if you connect some of these points that I'm telling you here about practicing your C's, practicing C, draw your C's, practice. And I will do this while, you know, I still do it now. If I don't know what to draw, I will still I will still keep my pen moving. I will still keep practicing my shapes. And that will give me that kind of muscle memory. And that's something that you need to build up. In the same way that you're playing an instrument, you're going to doing your scales, then you can break it up, like finger exercises. It's the same with your brush, same with your pen. And you're going to be drawing your lines. S. So you're getting used to drawing a C curve, a C curve, a C curve, a C curve, a C curve. And this is going to be massively helpful in your practicing. Just as you're sitting there doing nothing. Just, you're waiting for somebody. Your girlfriend is doing her makeup, and you go pad on the side, practice it. Practice drawing a circle with 2 C's. A C going that way and a C going that way. And as you get more and more confident with it, you'll kind of work it, and you'll work it, and you'll work it, and you'll work it, and to a point where you start to feel like the circle's a very good circle. If I was to colour that in, that's a very, very good practiced circle, a practiced 2 C's, in the same way that we've been talking about. So, to take that a step further, we're going to try and build that into characters. And as we're going through it, you will start to kind of see how these are being used. In fact, if you even think about C, S, and I, that's basically your whole alphabet. Think about it. Think about it in any letter that you've got. And, it's like A, straight, straight, straight. B, straight, circle, circle. C, D, straight, circle. E, straight, 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 straight. F, G, straight, straight. H, straight, straight, straight. So even if you get to the point where you're starting to do this type of thing, even if you're worried about drawing pictures at this point, think about the practice stage of just writing the alphabet. Using full capital letters. Okay, H, I, J, a straight with a C, straight. K, straight, straight, straight. It goes on and on and on, every single letter of the alphabet. So, when I practice, I also practice my writing. Not in a way to make my writing more beautiful, but because you can write your words. I could write Kieran, K, I, E, K, I, E. Even an E like that, it's still an E. You think? It's kind of like if you start to practice writing, when you do your drawings and you do some little writing around it, try to use your capital letters. So you'll be able to go through and you'll be able to go, my E is probably going to be a little bit lazy, so it's, over the years it's kind of got a little bit lazy, but it's still a C. So you might be able to just write any old letters. A man was walking. And the more you kind of doing that, a man was walking. Now you're practicing the speed in which you write. Maybe if you're writing, you get faster and faster and faster. A man was walking. See, I messed up there. But it's a way, it's a form of kind of relaxing your hand and getting, using that form. And it builds and builds and builds. And if you're practicing your drawing, you'll see a lot of drawings, if you buy like books on how to draw and things like that, you'll see that somebody will say add sorry, add a dot, add a dotted line. And that's the way it'll be written, in capital letters. And that's a very, very clear form that somebody is practicing their drawing, and practicing it in a way that your writing is that way and your drawing is that way. So, if we're getting to a stage, if you go through some of the videos before about circles and sausages, and you've been practicing circles and sausages, you will find that you'll be able to draw, I don't know, an elephant. Okay, so we're going to draw a round head, and we're just going to be doing our circles and just feeling the structure of that head. And we're going to feel a couple of straight lines there to kind of give them a nice big eyebrow. And we're going to bring on our kind of C shapes. Do you see what's happening here? And we can basically build up a structure from our shapes. And we're just loosely drawing this character. There's our big circle there. And our body, another circle here. Is his bottom. And we're going to do a nice kind of straight kind of feeling for his legs. We're going to draw an arm just on that kind of shoulder plane again. Circles, sausage, circle, and into some straights. We got our ear. We can just do a couple of big straights coming down there. So we got big ear. Now, as we're going through, you can add your detail. Okay. Now, at this point, if you don't feel confident, go back and practice what we've had before. Go through and practice. And then try to practice something from going from a C, practicing your C shapes, into a double C shape, a C this way and a C that way, to make a circle, to make an eye, and draw an eye. And then build out from drawing an eye to drawing a nose. Okay? And this way, when you have a little bit more confidence, you will find that everything is a C shape, an S shape. In this, there isn't really an S shape, but sometimes you will find that the character had, if I had drawn that with a bigger body, it would have had a much bigger S shape. In fact, that's almost an S shape there, if you can see that, the way that's coming down and round. So, if we were to take our elephant, and we're going to draw straight, and we're going to draw a C shape, and we're going to draw another. We're going to kind of give him some details around his eye, just for fun. And we're going to give that big kind of eyebrow type thing. And that's just a C shape. Do you see how simple this is getting? You're basically adding your shapes on top of your circles and your sausages. And we're going to draw a big kind of head for our elephant, basically on that structure. And we're going to kind of give him a big, let's give him a sad face. Okay. And you can just do your little kind of C shapes all the way down his nose. That will give him a kind of a trunk type feeling. Down to the point where you're going to go into a straight and back up. And then bringing that line all the way down. That's just a straight line. We're thinking about this in very small forms, very small, simple stages. We're thinking about a line, just concentrating on that line. Oh look, maybe we can just give him a little lip. That's cool. So your ear. You're just thinking about the ear at this point. Do not think about the elephant. Do not think about whatever. And you're just taking the line and you're doing a straight. And underneath, you're going to draw another straight. Now you're just going to draw another big straight down. And another straight back up towards the head. You put in a couple of little lines of detail there. And if you wanted to be really fancy, you could draw the ear behind. Another straight and another straight. And you can shade it in just by lines. Again, it's just straight, 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 like a hashtag, a hash cross-hatching line. So we'll draw our arm, which is just going to be a C shape and a straight and a C shape and a straight and a straight and a straight and a straight and a C shape. And that's our line. That's our whole drawing. And if you're practicing these things, it'll get easier. Here's another C shape, C shape, C shape, C shape, C shape, C shape. And that's all his toenails. Now, I can start to see that there's confidence coming here. That we're breaking it down into a way that we're basically saying, this could be a beautiful way to draw. This could be a very relaxed way of drawing. I'm going to draw the stomach now. That's going to be a little bit of a straight, and then it's going to go into a big C. Let's practice that line. So we're going to be drawing a straight line down to about there, and then we're going to draw a big C shape all the way around, and that's his belly. And then on his back, we're going to be going on a straight line, and on a straight line, with a big C coming around there for his bottom. So, with that, we're starting to find that we're getting more confident. By the time we've got to the feet, we're pretty cool. We're going to do a nice C shape at the top, nice C shape at the top, and we're going to do a nice joining our lines. We're going to draw a nice straight. We're going to draw another curved straight there, and we've got more toenails. Okay, little C's. We're just drawing C shapes. We're just drawing a C shape, a C shape, and a C shape. And that's really cool. You've drawn most of an elephant. Now we're just going to draw another long curved C shape, straight, and another curve, and we'll do some more toenails with the little C shapes. And if you want, you could do some little straight lines just to give it a shading, a cross hatch type feeling. And we have our character. We could do a little straight, a little curve into that, and we're going to just give him a little tail. So, from the practicing of our circles, and then our clean up line of our C's and S's and I's, we have come up with an elephant. Now you could simplify down the character. You could draw it in any simplified form. You could have done it as a face instead of an elephant. We could have done a man. We could have done a face with our circle and another circle and another circle for his nose and another circle for his eyes and a C for his smile and a loose line there for his smile. Then we can do a C for an eyebrow. We can do a C and then another C for his bit of a straight on there. And we can draw the man's head. We could do another C there for his ear. See how we're beginning to give confidence. We didn't even draw the rough there for that. And we're already doing the inside of the ear, which is another little C. We've got another C there for his nose. We're going to have a big C there for his chin. We're going to have a C there for his smile. I'm going to bring that line up to give him a smile. Some little straights just to give him some funky hair. And that's giving us power. That's giving us confidence in the most simplest form you could imagine. So I will go back again and I will say practice. Practice these basic forms. Practice doing your C. Practice it. Just get used to it. Just sit and watch TV. Sit and watch your favorite show. Do an S shape, but do it with a C, and then another C. Do your I. Now and again, you'll practice some double C's, which is going to be a C and a C. You see how we're building this up, and we're practicing, and we're just going to practice. And what that is doing is that's giving us confidence. And if you want to get more confidence, then once you've done all your lines like this, you've done all your practicing, you will find at the beginning, for example, when you're doing your C, you'll be drawing something like this. And your C. I know you will. And as you get used to it, you'll be thinking, hang on, it's only a C. What am I worried about? Why am I drawing so slow and careful? I know how to write a C. A C is like that, and a C is like that. I can draw a C. I can draw a C. That's a C backwards. That's a C regular. And you start to build up your confidence. So from your drawing your straights, you'll be drawing your I shape. You'll be drawing it very, very, very slow. You'll be drawing it very, 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 very carefully. And you'll start to find that you're doing quick, straight lines. And that's where your confidence starts to come in. And if you take this video, and you take my early video, with basic circles and sausages, you start to become a much more confident artist very quickly. If you've done all these, the whole page of these C's and S, take your brush pen or your ink pen or your whatever, your marker. There's a marker on the other end of this. There you go. It's just a regular marker. It's a bit leaky, but then you can start to practice doing your clean line. Your C and your C and your I. Just practicing it. Doing your C as a cleanup. And you can do it as fast or as slow as you want. Okay? There is no limit. It's your time. It's your practice. And I would say start off nice and slow. And as you kind of get used to it, you'll do it nice and quick. Like that. Okay? Doing your line. Doing your line. And if you've got your brush, you can go back over it. Ooh, squeaky pen. You do your C, and you do your C, and your I, and your C, and your C, your C, and your C, which becomes an S, which is an I, which is a C, which is a C. Now these little things are the same as scales for music. You will practice it and you will build it up, and the better you get at it and the more fun you have with it, you know, draw it any way you want. Just do it like a C, but you're just going to be going da da dum da da dum da da dum da da dum. Fun. Then go back into your practicing, back into the slow, back into the loosening up. And I really recommend biros, because biros are great, because biros can really loosen you up. Look at that. C, C, hundreds of C's on top of each other. C, C, C. And that is a brilliant exercise. Just going a C that way and a C that way. It's brilliant for your hand, getting that flexibility. Straight, 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 straight. C, 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 C. Double C, backwards, backwards. That's a little bit more difficult. And that's where you need to practice. So when you've got your character, and your character's got a large chest like that, and he's leading into his bottom like that, you'll be able to draw those and another C there, and another C there, and that'll be his arm. And you see how this is building up, and very quickly you'll be doing things like that. You'll be roughing out your circles, putting on your line work that we did. You'll be going your C's and your S's and your I's, and you'll be able to draw a character very, very quickly and very, very clean. And I hope this gives you some confidence. I hope this raises your confidence level. And if it does, let me know. Okay? So that's it for today. I hope that helped. Give me some feedback. I would love to get some feedback from you. Give me some thoughts on if it worked for you, what you found difficult, what you would like more of, how you would like to improve this video. And I will come back with some answers for you. And I will come back with whatever you feel you need to learn to build your confidence. But if you stick with this, when you're just in your relaxed period of time, you come home from work, you've got into your nice comfy clothes or your big pajamas or whatever, you're putting on your favorite program and you're practicing, you're just practicing, you're practicing. You get a nice cheap scribble pad like I do, and just scribble, C, 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 backward C, backward C, backward C, backward C, I, S, S. Okay? So thank you very, very, very much for watching. And I hope the secret of practicing with C, S, and I will give you some powerful confidence. Let me know. If you like the video, please subscribe. Okay? Lots of drawing videos on this channel, and that's all aimed to learn to draw with more fun. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.